everybody. Welcome wherever you're tuning in, Facebook Live, Instagram Live, YouTube. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Sorry, my voice is still out. I lost my voice a few days ago, and I still haven't quite gotten my voice back, but I feel great. So let's talk about one of the most important things you need to know when buying olive oil, especially this time of the year. From November, December, January on, this is one of the most important things to know when you buy olive oil. So olive oil, the main regions of olive oil, I'm going to cover a little bit of basics before I tell you what to exactly look for on the bottle. So olive oil typically comes from the northern hemisphere. Typically, there are some southern hemisphere producers like Chile and Australia. Those are the two main ones. Chile and Australia are the two main southern hemisphere. Northern hemisphere producers: California, Spain, Italy, even France, Greece, Tunisia. So that whole band in the Mediterranean right there is known for olive oil. And you have California. So those are the three or the areas of the northern hemisphere. So here's what you need to look for when you're buying olive oil in November, December, and January. Olive oil is a seasonal crop. It was just harvested August, September, October. We were in Italy in November, and there were still olives out on the trees. There were still people out there harvesting olives in Italy. So what happens is the olives get picked, they get pressed, and they get made into a brand new crop. What happens is now the new crop is coming into the U.S., the new pressing, but you still have some of the old pressing from last year that are on the that are in the stores. So this now, so when you go to the store and look for olive oil, you're going to see stuff that is from last year, a year ago, possibly 2 years ago. If you're going to a place like a closeout store like TJ Maxx or Marshall's and you see extra virgin olive oil, $9.99 for a bottle, you're probably going to see stuff that's 2 years old. Or some grocery stores have stuff that's 1 year old. And some places are just now starting to get the brand new 2019 vintage. Olive oil comes in vintages. So the standard expiration date for the standard expiration date on olive oil bottles are 2 years. That's standard. So when you see a bottle of olive oil that says expires November 2020, you know that was bottled in November 2018. It's 2 years old, okay? So if you see something that's a year older or plus, there's another vintage on the market that's fresher. And that's how to tell. Now, if it's coming from Southern Hemisphere, South America or Australia, they have the opposite season. So they're not going to harvest until the opposite 6 months prior. So they're harvesting in June. May, June, July is when they're harvesting, and their olive oil hits the market by July, August. So if you see Australian olive oil, you're looking for stuff, again, same 2 years. But if you really want to get really technical and get super fresh olive oil all the time, you'll follow the Northern Hemisphere and Southern Hemisphere seasons. So in the fall time, December, you'll be looking for Northern Hemisphere, Italian, California, stuff like that. In the summertime, you'll be looking for Australian and Chilean olive oil. And that's how to get super, super fresh olive oil. Again, olive oil has a 2 year expiration date on it. So it goes out to 2 years. Never buy olive oil from TJ Maxx or Marshall's, any of those kinds of stores. They're getting leftovers, even though it looks good and might look fancy, this and that. Never, ever, ever buy that. I wouldn't even buy olive oil inside of a grocery store. They might have better brands, but they may not have the freshness you're looking for. I would go to a store like Fairway Market, which is a grocery store, but Fairway Market is a specialty store. I would go to places that specifically sell olive oil, that specialize in it, where you can go there and actually taste the oil before you purchase it, which is super important. You can literally have 5 or 6 different olive oils in your house, all of them way different flavors. One you use for fish, one you use for vegetables, one you use for meats. So you can really get very creative. It's just like wine. There's different varietals, there's different flavor profiles, and it gets really fun once you get into olive oils. So super fresh olive oil right now. Look for the stuff that is 2 years out. So you're going to want stuff that's being expired in November or December of 2021. That's going to be your freshest batch right now when you're buying olive oil. When you buy olive oil, make sure you store it in the refrigerator, airtight, and away from light. And the refrigerator is the best place to store olive oil, folks. Never cook with it. Those are other videos. Those are other topics I've done. But I'm just teaching you right now how to buy the best, the freshest olive oil. And only ever buy extra virgin, folks. Don't buy pure. Don't buy virgin. Don't buy pumice. You only buy extra virgin cold pressed olive oil. That's it. And you use it as a seasoning. You don't cook with it. All right, folks, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. I see a lot of you are on live. Thank you very much. Jamie, if you're on, can you drop the link for our Christmas Day Soup Kitchen? She's going to drop this on Facebook. Christmas Day Soup Kitchen, we feed 600 to 750 people every single year. We provide free meals, no questions asked in our community. We deliver 20, 30 miles away. There's a GoFundMe link. It costs us $5 per person to put the food out to make the day happen. We've been cooking for a week solid right now. We've been cooking for a week solid here. Turkeys are on their way down today. Murray's Turkey Chicken graciously donates turkeys every single year to us. So Murray's Chicken, thank you guys very much. They do a fantastic job. For 17 years, they've been donating turkeys. Costco has donated a couple years here and there to fill in the gaps. We literally are going to roast off 900 pounds of turkey starting tomorrow. So any kind of donations, monetary donations, are greatly appreciated. Everything is to go. It gets packaged and go. It still costs us after the donations $5 a person to pull this off. So the GoFundMe page is there. We're looking to raise about $4,000. We're at about $900 this morning. So with a couple weeks to go, anything that anybody can give, even $5 helps us feed one more person. Looks like on Instagram we have watching the Olive Trading Company. I bet the Olive Trading Company has a good lead on fresh olive oil. They're just tuning in. It looks like I'm talking about olive oil and how to buy the best olive oil, the freshest olive oil right now. 2-year expiration date. Most olive oils tapped. That's typically industry standard. They put 2 years on it. So if you're buying olive oil from the Northern Hemisphere right now, you want stuff that expires in 2 years from today, from this date. So November, December, September, October, the fall time here into the early winter, you want a 2-year lead on the expiration date. Never buy olive oil at TJ Maxx or Marshall's or any kind of store like that. That's leftover stuff. It's been sitting there. You don't know how it was stored. It's probably approaching that 2-year date. That's why they have it. And that's why it's probably $9 or $8 or something like that. Go to a store that you can actually taste the olive oil. A lot of good olive oil stores, specialty olive oil stores, you can taste, get tons of different flavor profiles. Pick one for fish, pick one for meat, pick one for vegetables. Never, ever, ever cook with extra virgin olive oil. Only buy extra virgin olive oil. Tons of information to know about olive oil. I love educating people about olive oil. But the first cold pressing is cold pressed, expeller pressed. Some of the other pressings, they use hexane gas to extract every last drop. So it is contaminated. That does come in contact with hexane gas. That's standard, folks, in the oil industry. Sunflower oils, canola oils, corn oils, vegetable oils, cottonseed oils. If it doesn't say expeller pressed, they're throwing hexane gas in there to extract every single last drop of oil. You don't want that in your food, but they're doing that to expand the extend the yield. David on Instagram is saying, what oil do you cook with? So David, that's a great question. There are some really good oils to cook with, but keep in mind that any single oil that you cook with, any oil across the board, as soon as you put it into first of all, oil of all type, any type of oil you buy, whether it's extra virgin olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil, any kind of oil you buy is a refined product. It's not in its whole form. So as soon as you refine it, it's going to start losing. As soon as you put it into a pan and start cooking it and turn heat on it, it's going to start losing characteristics and properties. So no matter what you say, the best oil, it might be a better oil to cook with, but there is no amazing oil that's, hey, this is not, there's no single oxidation going on. There's always something kind of breakdown happening from the minute you pick the olive, pick the plant, and start going through the pressing process. So there's only better options. So the better option for oils, for me in a commercial setting, because we go through tons of oil to cook with, we don't even have a fryer, and we go through tons of oil to cook with. We use extra virgin expeller pressed, cold extracted sunflower oil that's local. Zero filtering, zero fining. It comes cloudy. It's amazing oil. People swear by this thing. This is the longest, one of the best oils out there. We find it to be amazing. I'm in a large industrial operation where I need to buy a lot of oil. If you're cooking at home, macadamia nut oil, avocado oil, those are really awesome oils to cook with. If you're still cooking with animal oils like lard is okay. If you're cooking with butter's okay. But if you're cooking with a vegetable-based oil, I love coconut oil. Coconut oil is one of my favorites. But it's hard to make spaghetti and meatballs with coconut oil. So you have to be very careful of the type of food you're cooking with coconut oil. But coconut oil works very, very, very well. Macadamia, like I said, avocado oil. There's rice bran oil. I hear a lot of really good things about rice bran oil and a lot of science behind rice bran oil. But again, you have to be careful of where you're sourcing the rice bran oil from. Arsenic is a popular contaminant in rice. So we take a lot of care to buy our rice from an American producer, not an Asian producer. A lot of the Asian rices are linked to arsenic. We buy Lundberg organic rices. They test their rices and make sure they don't have arsenic in them, but they're tested, they're monitored. It's an organic rice. So watch that rice bran oil. Make sure that it's from a reputable source or U.S. source, something like that. Make sure it's not. Again, folks, the bottom line is you get what you pay for. That's the bottom line. You totally get what you pay for. Jamie and I were just in Italy for almost 3 weeks. We were vineyard after vineyard after vineyard. We were in Apulia, the home of olive oil. All right. There is 60 million olive trees in Apulia. There's only 4 million people in Apulia. That is like the home of olive oil and olives, of olive trees. You even in a place like that, to pick up, to buy oil, it still costs money. It's still, you're out there picking by hand. You're out. There's a lot of labor that goes into olive oil from there. When you're talking about California or Australia or Chile, it's different because they use a lot of machines, small plants, over the top machines. Australia does this really well. They run the machines through, pick them by machine, and by the time at the end of the road, they've already centrifuged them and pressed them. Great system. The advantage you have with using the heirloom trees, the larger trees that be handpicked, is you're getting more flavors and more antioxidants. So that's a trade-off. But there's literally people out there shaking the trees with tarps underneath each tree, folks, underneath each tree, shaking. We saw this, shaking the trees, olives falling and harvesting them. So to do this kind of work takes time and money. We were at one vineyard a few years ago, and they're like, Marcus, it cost us for a liter bottle of olive, it costs us to pick, grow, press, process, put in the bottle. Before it even leaves our operation, we have €5 in that bottle already. That's like $6, folks. $6. That's for a liter. You add on importing, shipping, taxes, distribution, retail sales, and that $5 bottle turns into literally $30. Okay, €5 turns into a $30 bottle. A lot of us Americans are used to going to the store and buying a 3-liter Bertolli or something for $25. That's not real olive oil. It doesn't, that olive oil is far from the quality you're getting. You get what you pay for. There's a tremendous amount of fraud in olive oil. You can just type in the Google olive oil fraud. You'll come with article after article after article of people walking in the stores, buying 12 brands, taking it back to a lab and testing it. And there's hazelnut oil in it, sunflower oil in it, there's chlorophyll in it, there's flavorings in it, there is olives in it a lot of times, olive oil in it sometimes, but it's not 100% pure extra virgin. A lot of these companies like Bertolli, they're packers. They're just packers. They're buying tanker loads of pressed oil from Tunisia, from Spain, from wherever, and it sits in the bays there and in the ocean, and then it gets shipped into their plant and blended and the chain of command is so lost. The supply chain is so lost from the tree to the actual bottle to you. So you want to pay more for this. And that because it's literally, folks, it literally costs $100 a gallon for good olive oil. That's the real deal olive oil, $100 a gallon. So when something costs $100 a gallon, you're going to have fraud. That's just what happens. The higher something costs, the more fraudulent people are going to be out there trying to hustle that product and make money and scam you. So use olive oil sparingly, use it to season with, don't cook with it, buy extra virgin, keep it in the refrigerator, and always look for the longest possible shelf life, at least up to 2 years. So right now, the season's in for Southern Hemisphere olive oils. Northern Hemisphere. So Italy, California, Spain, Greece, France. I love French olive oils. French olives, the French had these major frosts back in the 30s or so, which killed off a big portion of the industrial olive oil production in France. So what was left was all small mom and pop places that had, 30 trees, 50 trees, 200 trees, 8 trees, was all of the small family operations that kept continuing their heritage of making olive oil in southern France. So when you can find a French olive oil, typically it comes from a small grower producer, not a packer. See, when you walk into the store, when you walk in the shop, right, Hannaford's, Safeway, Albertsons, Kroger's, Piggly Wiggly, any of those stores, when you walk in, Walmart, you walk in those stores and you look at the shelf and you see all the bottles lined up, there's very, very, very little grower packer producers there. Those are grower producers. They're all packers. They're all buying olive oil on the open market. They're buying stuff that's already pressed from different countries, from different regions, and then bringing it into their operation. They're packers. They're not grower producers. Grower producers are where it's at. That's where you get the highest quality. So in the French world, you're going to have a much more concentration of grower producers, not big conglomerates packing. Some of the biggest companies out there, like Bertolli folks, don't even own olive trees. They don't harvest themselves. They don't own anything like that. They might have them up their driveway in Milan, just a show, but that's typically it. And even the better, like one of the Colavita, which is referred to as a bigger brand, I've seen articles on that where people have gotten that one analyzed, and like 65% of the time it's real extra virgin 100% olive oil, but the other times it's being mixed because, again, they've lost control along the way of where that olive oil is coming from. Now, if olive oil were to be invented today, right now, you could say it might be one of the top 5 therapeutic things you could put into your body. Olives are a fruit. They're loaded with polyphenols. They are extremely healthy for you. A lot of alternative holistic practitioners recommend olive oil. When I was a kid trying to get rid of my asthma, we saw a holistic practitioner who was a medical doctor and did alternative, but was from South America. And he said, start drinking a tablespoon of olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, every single day. That'll help with your asthma. I altered my diet and got rid of my asthma anyway a few years after that. But olive oil is loaded, extra virgin olive oil, cold pressed extra virgin olive oil is loaded with tons of nutrients, polyphenols, a bunch of really good stuff for you. As soon as you put that in a pan and turn the heat on, you kill all that off. In fact, once it hits the smoke point, it's become carcinogenic. So that's the last. Anytime you heat any oil, folks, any oil, I don't care if it's coconut oil, butter, anything. Anytime you heat any oil and it starts to smoke, it hits its smoke point, discard it. It is extremely dangerous to consume that oil. That is not oil to be consumed. Oil that hits the smoke point. This is why fryer oil, folks, restaurants will sit with cheap corn oil, GMO soy oil, GMO sunflower, canola oil. They'll put this into their, and sometimes hydrogenated, into their fryers and turn their fryer on 325 degrees. And literally that oil is sitting at 325, 335 degrees, 350 degrees all day long. The chef comes in the morning, the cooks come in the morning, 10:30, turn the fryer on, and they're open for lunch and dinner. That oil right there will stay on from 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning until 10 o'clock at night at that constant temperature. That oil right there has been so far denatured and oxidized in just one day. And restaurants will keep using that oil for 2, 3, 4, 5 days, depending on how busy the restaurant is. And some restaurants say, oh, I can filter it and put it back into the fryer to extend my life another 3, 4 days. Folks, just cooking French fries in an oil like that is terrible. It's a detriment to your health. Detriment. Your body doesn't understand what that is. That kind of oxidative stress, oxidative oil. It doesn't understand that. So another question: what's the best oil to cook with? Again, rice bran oil. Rice bran oil is awesome. Make sure it's from the U.S. so it's not contaminated with arsenic, or make sure they have arsenic tests in the company. You get what you pay for. Coconut oil is great, but coconut oil doesn't go well with Italian food. Certain things, go well with coconut oil, Asian foods. Coconut oil, macadamia oil is great. Avocado oil is great. But keep in mind, again, folks, and I'll repeat this, I know some of you are just getting on this, and a lot of you are watching on Facebook and Instagram. I'm going on 2 feeds live right now, and this will be also posted on our YouTube channel later, so you can save that, and I'll also share it onto Facebook and keep it on Facebook. So when you extract any oil from any nut or seed or fruit like avocado or olive, as soon as you start the extraction process, you have a refined product. It's refined. It's just the definition, it's refined. Once you then put it onto heat, you're starting that breakdown process even more. You're speeding it up. Oxygen, air, heat, oxygen and air, same thing. Oxygen, light, and heat are the 3 things that are going to break down any oil. So that's why you want to buy high quality oils, whether they're coconut, extra virgin olive oil, and keep it in your refrigerator, just like you do flaxseed oil, folks. Flaxseed oil, you go to the store and you buy it in the cold section of the store, right? It's in the cold section of the store. And from there, you then take it home, and you wouldn't take flax oil that costs you $10 for a little container and all of a sudden start sauteing onions and mushrooms with it. It'd be crazy to do that, because you know the health. If you're buying flax oil or hemp oil like that, you know the benefits of it. So it doesn't make sense to go just put it in a pan and turn it up and there you go. So extra virgin olive oil should be treated the exact same way. Again, it's loaded with polyphenols. It's a fruit, and it's basically olive juice, folks. It's fresh olive juice. We know the benefits of juicing parsley, cucumbers, things like that. This is the fresh juice. This is the livelihood, the lifeblood of that olive, of that fruit plant. And you want to protect it all along the way. I've actually bought from olive oil producers and olive oil distributors in the past that have actually kept their olive oil frozen. It would get shipped from Italy, frozen, kept frozen, and then shipped to me at the restaurant, frozen. And that was because they knew the importance of temperature control along the whole way of this olive oil. So then there's no chance for it to be sitting in a warehouse. There's a lot of food distributing companies out there that don't have air conditioning in their warehouses. And the olive oil, they'll buy pallets and pallets and pallets of it, and it'll sit in this warehouse and roast all summer long, or it'll get put onto a truck and get shipped somewhere and just sit there in non-properly controlled environment. So all this breaks down. So that stuff, again, that you're buying at Marshall's or TJ Maxx or whatever, Kohl's, whatever those stores are, all that stuff you're buying from there, who knows where it was stored, much less the fact that it's approaching that 2-year expiration date and then it's sitting there in light. The only thing it hasn't happened is it hasn't been exposed to oxygen or air. So that's the only thing that's going for it. So hopefully this helps you buy higher quality olive oil, extra virgin. Thank you, folks, for tuning in. I really, really appreciate it. I had a lot of viewers on both platforms today, and you can catch us on YouTube later. So thank you very much, folks. Everybody have a great holiday season. Jamie dropped a link on Facebook to donate to our Christmas Day soup kitchen. Again, we feed up to 750 people every Christmas day. It's our 18th year doing it. Since 2003 we started, 17th year. 2003 we started. We've served over 9,000 people since 2003. It costs us about $5 a person to pull it off. The GoFundMe link is right there. If you're on Facebook, it's right there, or my screen, it's right there anyway. If not, if you're on Instagram watching, go to aromatimebistro.com, follow the link in our profile. On the homepage, scroll down, you'll see a banner that says click here, donate here. You click that, and you go there and donate. As little as $5 a person. $5. If you donate $5, it'll help us feed one more person. So if you found the information I gave you valuable here today, you think it's worth $5, please go and drop a donation. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys very much for tuning in, and have a great day.